Hi, Father Denis here, on a mission that we all want to be part of. Today, we want to talk about 5 questions that you need to deal with if you want to help young people. Now, why is this necessary? Because I've realized and I've done some study that if you have good question, you are good to go. You are prepared to not only give an answer, but to go beyond maybe one answer that can be there for that question. When we talk about young people, question number one, we realize they are still keeping crying. And why is this a concern? I set to discover what happens with the young people. This is my new publication, The Cry of the Young People, Transformational Experiences with a Mentor Priest. As you see from the cover page, walking towards a young man seated. It's a symbol of him having discouragement. When you look at this, a question raises, why might he be sad? Because holding his head facing downward, things must be wrong. It's the story I've written in this book, how one evening as I took my walk around the village somewhere, I came to this young man seated, and I was like, he's not right where he was seated alone at that moment of the evening. I walked towards him. I greeted him. There followed silence. I knew I had no other choice. Things were not right. But I made an effort to go closer and asking the young man if I could help him. The response I got really shocked me. Who are you, and why do you think that you can help me when everyone else has deserted me? That made me feel sad for him. And I asked, is there anything I can do to help you? Silence followed. I said, in any case you need my help, trust, I will offer some. As I seemed to walk away from him, I heard him ask, who are you again? I went back, told him my name. And I asked him to tell me what happened. He narrated. I said, I'm sorry. Then I asked, is this all that you can do to yourself? When everyone else cannot believe in you, when everyone else can desert you, is this what you can also do to yourself? A child started there, trying to help him see what was in his life. We unfailed. Therefore, in this book, there are 5 key questions you need to keep asking yourself. Question number 1, why are the young people still crying? They are crying because they are not aware of their potential. That is sad enough. Wherever you may go, when things get tough, everyone seems to lose it. But of the recent, we have seen the difference. Recently, we watched on NTV a story of a 13-year-old girl from Eldoret, Michelle Atieno Nyakure. She took her free time from school in this pandemic to finish our storybook. The question that raises in our minds is, when did this young girl realize the importance of writing? When did she discover that she can write, she can put thoughts together, and not only just writing, but publish a book? That is something right in her that would have not been developed if she kept on being confined in a school. We all know in school we expect uniformity, which is the enemy of creativity. Therefore, if you always look at the lives of the young people when they are free, that is the time they have to discover their potentials and build on them, then you are on the road to end the cry of the young people. I know they will do it better when they are engaged in something that they are passionate of. That brings us to the second question. What should we do to them, those who are crying? Like this friend of mine I met this evening. One thing that is right is when we will give them the right perception of reality as it is in the current. Now, we have heard a story again of a young man who was able to be creative to make a hand wash that attracted the whole nation, and as we know, our president gave him the State Award. Stephen Wamkota from Pungoma got it right. 9 years when he watched what was being said about the virus, he decided to make a safe hand wash. And he did it because he was at home and his mind was ready to think of what best he can offer to the family at 9 years. What will that be? Mostly, we may think that at age of 9, when we look at our own times, nothing can come from such a young person. But I can tell you for sure, there is no age of starting to do the right things for you to become who you want as a young person. Chapter 2 of this book has more information how you have to create a good perception. Yes, as people willing to help young people grow, and even the young themselves to create the right perception that they can do things. This brings us to question number 3. Who can bring change in the lives of the young people? The answer is simple and straightforward. Only the young can change their life. John Maxwell, my mentor, always reminds us that you can never change people unless they change the way they think. If there is something we can do to people is to influence them, to accompany them, but when it becomes a personal choice to grow, they need to make that decision. And that is why we can never forget a simple, straightforward fact. We are created in God's image and likeness with all uniqueness, which in chapter 3 of this book I talk about, free yourself by being yourself. Something else, again, we have seen from our media. We have a young man, Joseph Ndewangari, an 11-year-old, who was spotted imitating Chef Koinange. He was proud to citizen. And I love it when he's telling Chef that he's going to take his place. What made this young man to create such a confidence? When he got interviewed, he said he kept watching Chef, listening, and his voice gave him the confidence. When we work with the young people, one thing is right. They need to see in us what we have done right. When they admire, they will work their way out in building their talents, in building their potentials, in becoming free to do what they want. And this is what is so amazing to anyone out there willing to journey with young people. It's not easy, yet it's doable. And that is what we need to remember. No one has done it right for the first time. It doesn't matter, even if it's going to take you several times of falling and racing for you to have it right. In fact, what you need to know, the more you keep trying, the better you become. This leads us to question number 4. When we ask them if it's the young people who are to cause change they want in their lives, how would they do it? The saying is right. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, get a friend. Now, getting a friend, you have to have some likes, some interests. But look what we have seen, reported, and watched in our news of the recent days. School-going girls being impregnated, numbers rising day in, day out. This is not what we expect of the young. It is so sad, so demoralizing. It questions our focus, our interest, our expectation of tomorrow. The other day I was having a chat with some young people somewhere, and I engaged them in this discussion where I questioned them. Yes, we are talking about pregnancies of school-going children, that is girls. The effects of the abuse of a girl child, they are easily seen. They are carrying pregnancies that no one is ready to take responsibility of. And the worst from the reports we had and saw, these pregnancies must have come from the caretakers. What a sad community. When we talk about getting a friend to churn with, in chapter 4 of this book, we say we need to start a conversation that should be a guiding point for empowering the young people. Neither are we excluding or freeing the male child. Maybe they have also suffered, but there is a possibility that the effects are not seen as at the moment. This doesn't leave them to go free. And imagine when they will come of age, they will be looking up to their age mates to marry, for those who will be interested in marrying, only to find them with kids. They will be left to make tough choices, either to accept them with their kids, or they will be forced to marry younger girls than them. A goon that will be there to the future. But if the young themselves come together, get united, learn to respect, as I have said in this book, above all, know how to invest their sexual energy in doing what is profitable than what will ruin their lives, they will remain united. They will go together supporting each other. But when they don't have that, any of us takes advantage of them. We allure them because of goodies, because of some enticement. We darken their future. It is that time we need to realize when we join the conversation of empowering young people, we need to remain with the role of a midwife. A midwife is only there to ensure for the safe delivery of a life. Now, if we have to agree and work for it, we need to do our homework well by empowering the young people to take on the discussion, to hold hand, for we know it right. United we stand, divided we fall. This is what we need to remind the young people, and this is what you need to know as young people. You can only do great if you get connected with other young people. Having said that, I come to the last question that we need to ask. Are the young people leading their lives? Sadly again, they are being led. Why? Because some of us who are not young have developed a wrong perception of who the young are, and maybe that time the young had to withdraw from their presence. A gap was created. But I want to tell you, again with the words of a great mentor in leadership, John Maxwell says, if you want to lead, you need to see opportunities when others see limitations. And this brings even from the scripture what Christ did to his own disciples. Look at when he took Peter, John, and James. They witnessed his transfiguration. It is because he was preparing them to lead the flock. And in that moment, he had to impact the right sense of leadership. And this is exactly what we need to share with the young people. They need to start leading today, for tomorrow will never come. Chapter 5 of this book has got lots of information and insights on how young people can be ready to take up the leadership role, where I say you don't need to be appointed to become a leader. You just need to become conscious of what your potentials are, build them, and everyone else around you will admire it. When they admire what you are doing, they will for sure ask you to lead them. I got this exciting, and I'm trying to do it right away, and that's why I want to share with you. John Maxwell says it rightly, that if you want to grow yourself, grow people around you. The question is, who are you going to grow with? In which area are you going to grow? What is the end results of your growth? Father Denis, with this team, we are focused in growing young people to become conscious of their potentials so that they can start leading their lives. At the end of the day, they will lead others. This is a challenge. I know by the fact you are watching me, you are ready to take it. Come on, let's join hands. Let's be ready to go and grow the young people. Looking forward in this mission of growing young, ready to lead their lives. See you then.